Next topic in our linear IC applications is operational amplifier. In short, it is called as op amp. So the operational amplifier definition: an operational amplifier is a direct coupled high gain amplifier, usually consisting of one or more differential amplifiers followed by a level translator and output stage. So this is the definition for operational amplifier. The operational amplifier is a direct coupled high gain amplifier, usually having one or more differential amplifiers followed by a level translator and output stage. So usually used to amplify AC signals as well as the DC signals. So it can able to amplify AC as well as a DC, and designed to do some mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and etc. So this is the reason why it is called as op amp, operational amplifier. So why it is called as operational amplifier? Because it is designed to do some mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, integration, differentiation also. Okay, this is the reason to call it as an operational amplifier. Sometimes they may ask you in examinations why it is called as operational amplifier, because it is designed to do some mathematical operations. Okay, and the op amp has high differential gain. So we already discussed about the differential amplifier, and the differential amplifier is a basic building block of our operational amplifier. So each has high differential gain and high input impedance and low output impedance. These are all the three characteristics that should have for all amplifiers: high differential gain and high input impedance and low output impedance, used in oscillators, filters, and instrumentation circuits. So these operational amplifiers are used in oscillator circuits, filter circuits, and instrumentation amplifier circuits. And op amps are available in the IC formats. The most popular IC format is IC741. So we are going to discuss about this IC only in this entire unit, IC741. Okay, and it can also be available in TL082 dual op amp. It contains the two operational amplifier inside it. So even though these two ICs are having only 8 pins, it is also called as mini dip package. And one more IC number for operational amplifier is LM324 and LM358, and Motorola company designed this op amp in MC4002P. These all are operational amplifier ICs. So IC741 is the most popular. Next popular thing is TL082 dual op amp and LM324, LM358, MC4002P. These are all the IC formats of the operational amplifier. So let us see the symbol for operational amplifier. So this is the schematic symbol for the operational amplifier. So the operational amplifier having the two input signals and one output signal and two supply voltages. So here the two input signals are divided into non-inverting input and inverting input. Okay, why it is called as a non-inverting input and inverting input we will see later. Okay, next thing, the two supply voltages are plus VCC and minus VCC. Okay, sometimes it is called as minus VEE because we know in the differential amplifier this negative supply is given to the emitter, so that's why it may also called as minus VEE. So, and this is the output terminal. And inverting input, so why it is called as the inverting input? First of all, we will see, because when we give the input signal to this, the output signal will be 180 degrees out of phase with the input. Suppose if we give the positive half cycle to inverting pin, then we will get the negative half cycle at the output terminal. Okay, because the input and output will have 180 degrees out of phase. Okay, so when we give the positive half cycle, we will get the negative half cycle which is 180 degrees out of phase. And next is non-inverting terminal. So why it is called as a non-inverting terminal means the input signal and output signal both will be in phase. When we give the negative half cycle, output is also in a negative half cycle way. Okay, there is no change in the phase difference input and output. So when we give the input to the inverting terminal, we will get 180 degrees phase difference between input and output. When we give the input to the non-inverting terminal, we won't get any phase difference between input and output. Because of these two reasons, we are call it as non-inverting terminal and inverting terminal of an op amp. Okay, then this is the pin diagram of op amp. So this is the practical image of operational amplifier LM741CN. Okay, so this is the pin diagram of IC741, which is very important. And 8 pin is also called as a mini dip package. Here we have to identify the pins. So here is the first pin. How to identify the first pin means, so this is a semicircle. Always we have to place this semicircle in the top side, and this dot indicates the pin number 1, or else if the dot is not present means, if uh, if you place this semicircle to the top, then leftmost pin will be the first pin. Okay, in dual inline package, this semicircle will says the pins are going like this. So that's why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are 7, 8 pins are placed like this. This semicircle will says how the pins are arranged inside the ICs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, like that it is showing. And when we place this semicircle to the top side, then the leftmost top pin is the first pin. Okay, and also sometimes we will have the dot. So this dot indicates the first pin. Okay, so now we can identify the pin numbers as it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next pin will start from the down 5, 6, 7, 8 pins. Okay, the first pin is called as offset null adjustment pin. The first pin as well as the fifth pin are called as offset null adjusting pins. I will tell you what is the use of these two pins. And the second pin is the inverting terminal or inverting input. It was given to the inverting terminal of our operational amplifier. And the third pin is the non-inverting terminal or input. So this is directly given to the non-inverting terminal of our op amp. And fourth pin is a minus VEE, negative supply voltage pin, and the seventh pin is the positive supply voltage plus VCC supply, and the sixth pin is the output terminal. Okay, so in this we are using these 5 pins only. One is the inverting input, non-inverting input, and plus VCC, minus VEE, and output pins. These 5 pins only most widely we use, most probably we use, and the remaining pins we won't use if it does not have any error. And the 8th pin is called as no connection. There is no connection for this pin. It is a vacant pin. Okay, so this is the pin diagram of an operational amplifier, which is a very important topic. And offset null adjustment pins. So what is the use of this offset null? I will explain you. So the basic building block inside the operational amplifier is the differential amplifier. If the input for the operational amplifier is 0, then output must be equal to 0 only. Okay, but in some cases we may get some output signal. That output signal is called a error output. Okay, so this error, even though the input signal is 0, we will get some output signal. That error voltage can be minimized using offset null adjustment pins. By giving some external voltages to the pin number 1 and 5, we can adjust the output to 0 for 0 input. Okay, usually for the 0 input, output must be 0, but in some problems inside the ICs, like biasing supply voltages and some other problems, we may get some error output signal in order of millivolts. So that millivolts error can be minimized using offset null adjustment pins. Next thing is the block diagram of operational amplifier. So the block diagram contains the 4 stages and the input stage. First stage is the input stage. This input stage is a differential amplifier, so which is having the inverting terminal as well as the non-inverting terminal. The input stage is a dual input balanced output differential amplifier. Okay, so inside the input stage we will have dual input balanced output differential amplifier, so which takes the inputs inverting and non-inverting inputs and it will give the two output signals. Okay, this is the circuit for dual input balanced output differential amplifier. Next stage is intermediate stage. So this intermediate stage will having another differential amplifier which is driven by the output of first stage. This is dual input unbalanced output differential amplifier stages. Okay, this intermediate stage may contain the dual input unbalanced output differential amplifier. So that's why it takes the two inputs and gives only one output signal. Okay, so these intermediate stages will be used when the required gain is not achieved. Okay, so the gain produced by the input stage is not enough, then we will go for the intermediate stages. In these intermediate stages we will use dual input unbalanced output differential amplifier, and this is the circuit for dual input unbalanced output differential amplifier. V1 V2 are the inputs and we are taking the output across the Q2 output terminal. Okay, and the third stage is a level shifting stage. Third stage is the level shifting stage. So what is this use? Because of direct coupling is used, the DC voltage level at the output of intermediate stage is well above the ground potential. So inside the operational amplifier we always use the direct coupling, so that's why the DC generated in the stage will be transferred to the next stage. So the amplifier output may contains the DC as well as the AC signals. The DC generated in this stage will be transferred to the next stage. If this DC level is transferred to the next stage, then that will be driven the next stage into the saturation region because of high DC levels applied to the input. Okay, so in order to avoid this situation, we have to zero the DC potential to ground. We have to shift the DC potential to the ground. So that's why we use the level shifting stage. Therefore, the level shifting circuit is used to shift the DC level at the output downwards to zero with respect to the ground. Okay, whatever the DC that is present will be shifted to the zero level. Okay, so shifting means the DC, it will remove all the DCs and will forward only AC signal to the next stage. And the last stage or fourth stage in our operational amplifier is the output stage. This output stage increases the output voltage swing and raises the current supplying capability of op-amp. This output stage is provides low output resistance. Okay, so this output stage will give a large voltage swing as well as the current swing. This output stage will give large voltage swing as well as the current swing, and also it provides a low output impedance or resistance. This can be achieved by using a push-pull complementary symmetry amplifier. So in the output stage, what is the circuit inside the output stage is push-pull complementary amplifier. Okay, so this is about the black diagram of an op-amp. Very important question. Okay, next topic is ideal op-amp characteristics. An ideal op-amp would exhibit the following electrical characteristics. Infinite voltage gain. As the basic building block of op-amp is a differential amplifier, it provides the infinite voltage gain for the ideal characteristic. AD, the differential voltage gain is infinite. Okay, this is about the ideal case. And infinite input resistance. The input resistance Ri is equal to the infinite for ideal op-amp, and zero output resistance R0 is equal to 0. Therefore, these and zero output voltage when the input voltage is 0. As we already discussed, when the input signal for the op-amp is 0, then output must be 0. Okay, so in ideal case it is achieved. Okay, and next thing, infinite bandwidth. The bandwidth of op-amp is infinite, so there many signals from 0 Hz to infinite Hz can be amplified without attenuation. If the operational amplifier has a infinite bandwidth, means it can able to process, it can able to take whatever the signal we have given. Okay, it can able to process all the signals from the 0 hertz to several hertz or infinite hertz. Okay, without any attenuation. Therefore we can say the bandwidth is equal to infinite, and infinite common mode rejection ratio. So we already know the common mode rejection ratio means it is the ability of a differential amplifier to eliminate the common signal. Okay, so the CMRR in practical must be very high. In ideal case, the CMRR must be infinite. Okay, and the infinite slew rate. So the output voltage changes occur simultaneously with the input voltage changes. The slew rate must be equal to 0. SR is equal to infinite. And next topic is equivalent circuit of operational amplifier. This is the equivalent circuit for the operational amplifier. So V1 and V2 are the two inputs. One is the inverting input and another one is the non-inverting input. So here minus sign indicates the inverting input and the plus sign indicates the non-inverting input, and it is having some input resistance Ri, and the plus VCC and minus VE are the supply voltages, and these output side circuit are replaced with the Thevenin's equivalent voltage and its equivalent resistance, where R0 is the output resistance or Thevenin's equivalent resistance, and ADVD is the Thevenin's equivalent voltage, and the output voltage is equal to AD into VD. And we know output voltage V0 is equal to AD into V1 minus V2. Okay, the operational amplifier amplifies the difference between the two input signals, so V1 minus V2, and we know the V1 minus V2 is nothing but the differential voltage VD. So where A is a large signal voltage gain and Vd is the differential input voltage, and V1 is the voltage at the non-inverting pin with respect to the ground, and V2 is the voltage at the inverting terminal with respect to the ground, and V0 is equal to A into Vid or Vd, which is A into V1 minus V2, equivalent of a Thevenin source, and Ri is equal to input impedance of op amp, and R0 is equal to Thevenin equivalent impedance looking back to the output terminal of an op amp. Okay, so these are all the notations that we are used inside the equivalent circuit of operational amplifier. This is also important topic. They may ask you in examinations. And voltage transfer curve for ideal amplifier. So what is voltage transfer curve? Voltage transfer curve. So the transferring is between input and output terminal. Therefore, the graph, the transfer curve can draw between the input voltage to the output voltage. The graph is plotted between the output voltage V0 and the differential input voltage Vd. This is the ideal operational amplifier voltage transfer curve. Okay, so on x-axis we have taken the input voltage, on the y-axis we have taken the output voltage V0, which is AOL into VD, where AOL is the open loop voltage gain. So it is just AOL means AD only. Okay, so AOL is open loop voltage gain. They are mentioned as AOL into VD, and the plus VSAT and minus VSAT are the maximum voltage that can be given by the operational amplifier. Okay, it is the maximum voltage that can be given by the operational amplifier. In the positive side it is a plus V saturation, in the negative side it is minus V saturation. Okay, because AOL is equal to infinite, the open loop gain or the differential gain of an ideal op amp is infinite. We know the V0 is equal to AOL into VD. As it is AOL is infinite, V0 is equal to infinite only. Infinite output voltage is not possible to get. That's why it will have some level. The maximum output that can be given by the operational amplifier is plus Vsat and minus Vsat. Here sat means saturation voltages. These saturation voltages are approximately equal to the plus or minus VCC supply voltages. So here one thing you have to observe, for the input greater than the 0 volts, just greater than the 0 volts, then the output is equal to the plus V saturation voltage. And for the input just less than the 0 volts if the negative minus 0.1 is enough to drive the operational amplifier output to the minus V saturation. The plus 0.1 or 0.001 volt is enough to drive the operational amplifier output to the plus V saturation. The difference between the input voltage Vd is less than 0, which means minus 0.1 or 0.001 in sometimes is enough to drive it to minus V saturation voltage. Okay, so if the voltage is greater than 0, output is a plus V saturation. If the voltage is less than 0, then the output is a minus V saturation. Okay, that is the voltage transfer curve about it. And we know AD is equal to V0 divided by VD, and V0 is equal to AD into VD if you rearrange this. And we know the AD is infinite, therefore V0 is also infinite. Okay, so Vd must be equal to 0. We know that Vd is equal to V0 by AD, which is infinite. In anything by infinite is 0. So Vd is equal to 0, even though for the 0 input, output is saturated voltage because the infinite gain. Hence, the voltage transfer curve is a vertical line. Here it is always a vertical line, and if it is just above the 0 volts, it will be the plus V saturation. If it is just below the 0, it will be the minus V saturation. And voltage transfer curve for the practical operational amplifier, if you see, the gain of a practical op amp is not infinite. Hence, for the low input voltages, the output is finite. For high voltages, the output reaches to the saturated levels. So if you see in this graph, so on x-axis it is the differential voltage, input voltage, and the y-axis it is the output voltage only. So in practical case, even though the input voltage is just above the 0, we will have the output of plus V saturation, and just below the 0, we will have the output of minus V saturation. But in this case, we do not have like that, and here we will have some linear range of operation from this voltage, from the voltage A to voltage B. We will have some linear range of operation. In this linear range of operation, we will get some linear outputs between the input and output signals. Okay, see, AD is equal to V0 by VDB. We already know it, that the gain is equal to output voltage divided by the input voltage. In the practical operational amplifier, this AD is not infinite, it is equal to 2 into 10 power 5. Therefore, Vd is equal to, if you take Vd in this side, Vd is equal to V0 by AD. So, output voltage in this case, I am just assuming it is a plus or minus 15 volts. The plus VCC is a 15 and minus VE is minus 15 volts. So, if you do this, we will get plus or minus 75 microvolts. Therefore, the input voltage range, the linear range of operation is 0 to plus 75 volts, and in this side 0 to minus 75 volts microvolts. Okay, so 75 to 75, 150 microvolts. In this range only, our operational amplifier will work in a linear range. So thereafter the plus 75 volts, 75 microvolts, the op amp output is plus V saturation. In the negative side, if our input voltage range is greater than minus 75 microvolts, then it will be minus V saturation. Okay, therefore the linear range of operation or the op amp work as amplifier in this small range only. This 75 in this side and 75 in this side, which is a 150 microvolts. 150 microvolts. If the difference between the V1 and V2 is 150 microvolts, then only we will get the linear range of operation of op amp. Remaining, we won't get any of thing. See, this table will tells us for the ideal case and a practical case. So if the difference voltage is greater than 0, output is plus V saturation. If the difference voltage is less than 0, output is minus V saturation. In practical case, if the difference voltage is greater than the B level, here it is B level, then the output is plus V saturation. If the difference voltage is less than A level, A point, then definitely V0 is equal to minus V saturation. So here the range operating is A to B. This is a very small range. So we have to give that much small voltages to work with the operational amplifier. Otherwise, our output is always plus V saturation or minus V saturation only. There is no use if we have the saturation outputs. So we have to increase the linear range of our operational amplifier by using some feedbacks, etc. Okay. So in general, if you use the op amp as an open loop, then the input range is only 150 microvolts, 75 in a positive side and 75 in a negative side.